Timeless Favorites 102.7 The Lake. The music there of the Beatles when they launched their Apple recording label. The song they did it with was that one right there. Hey Jude, it is 7:58, a couple of minutes now before 8 o'clock. And with us, we mentioned around the 8 o'clock hour, and it is around the 8 o'clock hour, is Barry Gordon from Gordon's Estate Services. First of all, good morning, Barry.
Morning, Shane.
How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, last time we did this was a couple of months back, I think, and some very, very useful information. We're going to touch on here when staying at home isn't an option for some people, and of course we're thinking of people who I don't know, for some unforeseen circumstances think that maybe staying in a home is the right thing for them to do, when others on the outside are kind of thinking no, it's not. So how do you go about this?
Well, we talked about a couple of things there, Shane, and thanks very much. What I wanted to just touch on this morning for a minute was, everyone's default position, of course, is that I want to stay where I am.
Right.
Because, I'm like that, you're like that. Yeah. Everybody, you get familiar with your circumstances, and as we get a little bit older, we get even more entrenched into that. I just love where I am. I love the place. It's what I know. It's what I'm familiar with. And the good news is that there are a variety of not-for-profit agencies around these days available to folks to give them help and support to stay there longer. And, it's Remembrance Day week, Remembrance Day tomorrow, and I'd be remiss if I didn't just say what a fabulous job the Veterans Affairs folks do here in the Kingston area and probably everywhere at providing supports for the families of veterans and veterans. Mm-hmm. There are a variety of things that they do, and I'm sure that everyone that has served our country in that fashion is aware of those activities. But they really do a great job at Veterans Affairs here in Kingston, and they're one of the many not-profit sources of supports. And so a lot of folks are getting support from a variety of places, and they do a great job of letting them stay in their home longer. But what happens sometimes is folks just kind of go blindly forward. They kind of almost cling to stay in a place because of familiarity and with the help of great, well-meaning agencies that do great work. Mm-hmm. But sometimes they find that, they end up in a spot where they've been here a year, 2 years, 3 years longer than it's past being the best place for them. Mm-hmm. It isn't functional anymore. They're fighting it. It's risky. Right. Family are worried to death because they're in a higher risk environment, and nothing's changed about the house. It just becomes more risky as you're less able to deal with the functionality of it. And there are a ton of great places out there, and a lot of folks, I had some good conversations this week from folks who are considering these big issues. Is it right for me to move now? And once many of them have an opportunity to visit and find out from us the pieces of the puzzle and where things start and what's the next move and the next move and the next move, and they can kind of consider it from really a better position of knowledge and facility, then, many of them say, well, that's terrific. Now that I know that, I'm really comfortable. I'm going to make a move now in the next 6 months. Other people say, wow, if I knew all this, I'd have moved 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
And, I'm ready to go now. Let's make a plan. Let's help me find a spot that's the right place for me.
Well, that's the thing. As you say, there's so many great services out there that, can help these people in a situation like that, where, as you mentioned before, you either make the move or you don't, because there weren't those particular services out there. Now, if somebody wants to, come to you, would you help them with, I know these service people, they can help you with this. Could you guide them kind of through this situation?
Yeah, we try to be as familiar as we can with everybody else on the peripheral industry and who provides what kind of services, and we stay in pretty close contact, if we can, with things like the CCAC and Veterans Affairs and the many, many privates as well as not-for-profit organizations that are there. And you know what? There are a number of very, very good private suppliers of home care kinds of services and supports as well. And they do a great job for folks. And so we absolutely, what we want to do with folks is help them discover what's the best thing for them.
Absolutely.
By having good, meaningful conversations with them about what's up, and what the options are, right?
Yeah. every people has an opinion, but of course the most important part of the whole conversation and the whole scenario would be what they want to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, what they want is the number one thing. It's the most important thing, and that's what we want to really get to right down to the bottom is what's best for them.
When staying at home isn't an option, how do people get a hold of you, Barry?
They can find us through our website at gordonsestateservices.com, or always the same phone number since about the 1950s, 542-0963.
There you go. Since the 1950s, it's embedded in my brain. Barry, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Shane.
Well, look forward to doing it again soon.
WLYK